crash and burn.
Hey everyone. So tonight's video has been influenced heavily, well not heavily, it's been influenced completely by this comment that I got on, God willing, I've actually put some effort into this one and have edited the comment up on screen. Fingers crossed that I actually follow through on this one. But yeah, I got this comment on my review for the Give 'Em the Boot, Tim Armstrong's road movie about those years from Hellcat Records. And I got a comment saying that this person wishes that people would do more of the sort of Punk-O-Rama, Give 'Em the Boot stuff. And it occurred to me that, yeah, it's a really good idea because I grew up with the Punk-O-Ramas and the Give 'Em the Boot. And it's amazing that I haven't thought about discussing these prior to reading this individual's comment, which again, hopefully is up on the screen, or it has already been up on the screen. Me actually following through to edit something, that's a fucking tall order. But anyways, today I am going to be discussing Punk-O-Rama, or Punk-O-Rama 1. This was released by Epitaph, all of the Punk-O-Ramas, as well as all of the Give 'Em the Boots. They're released by Epitaph. To Give 'Em the Boots, of course, it's Epitaph and Hellcat. This is the first Punk-O-Rama. As of 2022, I think there's like 15 or 16 of these. I stopped caring about these after the 5th one. And I love the fact that this comment springboarded me to starting to really think about how I should be discussing the Punk-O-Ramas, because they were such an integral part of like my punk rock education. Like when I was a kid, like when prior to this being released in 1994, at this point I was listening to a lot of Minor Threat. I was listening to a lot of Minor Threat. I was listening to Rancid's first one because I had a friend whose older brother had bought it from wherever and he didn't like it, and somehow I ended up with it. So I was listening to Rancid's first record. And of course at this point Rancid was nobody. And I was still really into like Deicide and Cannibal Corpse at this point. So as far as like punk rock was concerned, I knew who everybody was, and I was sort of slowly, low-key getting into bands like Bad Religion. But Punk-O-Rama, this sort of blew the doors off all that because it was cheap, and I got it from the Music World at the Pickering Town Center for no one who cares about that, because no one's going to give a fuck. But I got it from the Pickering Town Center, the Music World. And it was amazing because it opened my eyes to ska, because up until this point I had never heard ska. The closest I think I'd come to ska is like Rancid's Out of My Mind, but that doesn't really count because it's not really ska. But I Wanna Riot was on here, and I didn't know what the hell that music was. Like, I was caught so off guard because everything else on here was really energetic and really fast, and it was exactly what I was looking for. And it was sort of opening me up to like SNFU and like I said, more for Bad Religion. And No Effects was on here. The Offspring are on here. And it was just sort of getting me going, like fucking Sessions on here from The Offspring specifically. And that song is amazing. So I was like, yeah, I'm all fucking super punk and all supercharged. But then there was this I Wanna Riot song. I loved it, and I was like, it's so catchy, and it's so different, and it's so wild, and I'm like, and this is that band Rancid. I'm like, this is kind of quiet for them, and I'm like, what are they doing? What is this music? I didn't know what ska was, because again, at this point, I think I was like 13, give or take. And as the result of I Wanna Riot, I would start to dig into ska. I'd asked around to like older people I knew, and they were like, I can't remember who it was exactly, but I know somebody was the one that was like, dude, that's ska. Like, what are you, fucking brain dead? It's ska. And so I had a name to work with. And I remember the next ska record I bought was this really cheap sort of like best of that was like $7 or $8 from the Music World at the Pickering Town Center for the specials. I think it was Too Much Too Young was the name of the collection, if memory serves. And I was like, okay, cool. I didn't know what two-tone was. I didn't know who the specials were. And I liked parts of Too Much Too Young, but as it would turn out, I would be less into British ska and way more into the third wave of American ska, which Rancid would be at the helm of, and they would be responsible for sort of resetting the blueprint of what ska could sound like. So I appreciated the specials, but it was I Want a Riot that opened me up, and next thing I knew, it was like Operation Ivy, and I was like, holy fuck, the guy from Rancid's in Operation Ivy? Wait, 2 guys from Rancid are in fucking Operation Ivy? Holy shit. I'm like, this is like the best fucking news I've ever heard. Because Rancid was like, they were like gods at this point, and then they'd sort of like, as far as I was concerned, they'd invented ska, because of course, 13-year-old moron me didn't know any better. And then I found Operation Ivy as the result of starting to dig into ska, and that was it. Operation Ivy are perfect. They were fast, they were catchy, they were bouncy, and their ska was so chunky, and it was so loose, and it was so freeform, and it felt like it was incredibly well crafted, and yet it felt really natural. Like, well, actually, everything Rancid would do kind of falls under the same umbrella, where it's incredible sounding, but it sounds so easy, and it sounds like the guys in the band, this just sort of rolled off. What else was on here that was amazing? No Effects' Don't Call Me White would be a pivotal song of my youth. This was my introduction to Total Chaos with Riot City. Total Chaos, the only record of theirs I ever really loved, at least from this era, it's really overall the only record I ever really loved, period, from them, was Anthems from the Alleyway. And, or at least I think that's the name of the record. It's been like decades. But I picked that up as the result of falling in love with them off here. Of course, I don't think Anthems from the Alleyway was out quite yet, but considering that I didn't have a lot of money and everything, because I was a kid, you know, the years dragged on, and I would purchase Anthems as the direct result of hearing Total Chaos on this. Reality is a Ride on the Bus is on here from Society is No Fucking Use. And I don't know, this made me feel punk. Like, I was like, dude, I've got the punkest record in the world, and it's got all these, like, awesome punk bands, and they are. Like, The Offspring, Rancid, and Bad Religion would sort of be, like, my holy trinity of punk bands pretty much forever. I mean, you'd have to toss in the Misfits and the Dead Kennedys, who I would be getting into heavily a little while after this. But I just love the memories that this conjures up, and I love the vibe this record has, and I love how it felt like the world of music was so wide open at this point, and there was so many risks that people were going to take, and they would do really exciting things with the risks that they would take, musically speaking, and these bands would just get better and better and better and better, and I'm just really, really happy, and I feel incredibly privileged to be a part of this when I was. Like, I got in to the 90s punk scene right at the right time, right when all these like massive bands were just sort of getting started. And this is 8 minutes long. Fuck. So look, I'm going to knock it off. I'm going to stop talking about Punk-O-Rama Volume 1 from Epitaph from way back in 1994. Like always, if you like this review or whatever this was, don't forget to do something nice for somebody, but most importantly, don't forget that the world is a better place because you are in it, and I actually mean that. Have a good night. I just wanted to say thank you for making it through the entire video. I really appreciate it. And I'm going to remind everyone one more time, even though I've probably already done this in the video that you just watched, to please click the like button as well as the subscribe button because it helps this channel grow. And thank you for hitting like and subscribe, and we will see you guys really soon.